because as we go into lesson 8, this is something that you may have actually seen before in other subjects. I know you guys work a lot with maps in your history classes, so you may have worked with scale drawings or scale models with your maps, where you have your legend or your key. So if we read through this, a scale drawing or a scale model is used to represent an object that is too large or too small to be drawn or built at actual size. The lengths and widths of objects on a scale drawing or model are proportional to the lengths and widths of the actual object. The scale is determined by the ratio of a given length on the drawing or model to its corresponding length on the actual object. So consider the following scale. If I have 1 inch equals 3 feet, that would tell me that 1 inch represents an actual distance of 3 feet. Or 1 centimeter equals 2 millimeters would tell me that 1 centimeter represents an actual distance of 2 millimeters. Scales are written so that a unit length on the drawing or model is listed first. So if you think about when you look at a map, you look in your key and you're told that 1 inch equals so many miles. Obviously they can't make the map to actual size, otherwise we'd never be able to see anything. So everything's scaled down so that you could measure the distance and find what the actual distance is. So suppose a model of a dragonfly has a wing length of 4 centimeters. If the length of the insect's actual wing is 6 centimeters, what is the scale of the model? Okay, so if we look at the model size compared to the actual size. The model has a wing length of 4 centimeters. That's silly. Centimeters cm. The actual dragonfly has a wing length of 6 centimeters. I want my model length to be 1. So we're dividing each by 4. So that I get 1 centimeter represents 1.5 centimeters. So then we would write our scale just as you see them up here. 1 centimeter equals 1.5 centimeters. Now again, if you look at this, obviously it makes no sense because we know that 1 centimeter does not equal 1.5 centimeters. But we're talking about a scale here. On our model, if you measured 1 centimeter on the model, that would represent 1.5 centimeters on the actual dragonfly. Now, those are pretty close, so let's look at something that's not quite so close. The blueprint of a skateboard ramp shows that its length is 11.4 inches. If the scale on the blueprint is 1 inch equals 6 feet, what is the length of the actual skateboard ramp? Now we're going to solve this by writing a proportion. A lot of times it will tell you in the directions, solve by using proportion, make sure you're checking directions. So 1 inch on my blueprint represents 6 feet of the actual. So equals, I know 11.4 inches. Again, when we write our proportions, we have to make sure that everything matches up going across our equal sign. So inches in my numerator, we keep inches in the numerator, so 11.4 inches. I want to know my actual length. So let x be the length in feet. And just as before, when we have a proportion, we're going to cross multiply. So 1 times x. You could write it 1x, but it's also just x. Anytime you multiply something by 1, it's just itself. We have 11.4 times 6 in our other loop. And if we do 11.4 times 6, we get 68.4. I don't have anything to divide by this time because it was just 1. And if I divided 68.4 by 1, we would still have 1. So we go ahead and label here. The actual length is 68.4 feet. All right, this was a pretty short lesson. You guys have worked with scales before, so let's see how you do. The Golden Gate Bridge is 8,980 feet long. For a science project, Gabriel built a scale model of the bridge. How long is the model if he used the scale 1 millimeter equals 20 feet? You're given the actual length, you're given the scale. You want to find how long the model is. Please set up a proportion and show your work as always.